The full episode is now available on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Please see the link in the description for more details.
You watched Three Body Problem, the first episode, or
I've watched the
episode
first two episodes. It's
How
all
is
out.
it?
It's all out. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
it's pretty fucking good.
Dave and Dan, redemption.
Dave and Dan,
arc?
I
Because,
mean, backs against the wall. Like you better make this fucking work. And yeah, no, they can produce when they want to produce.
So,
Wow.
in my server right now, in the television and movies thread, both Ness and Miss Amber, who has covered Three Body Problem extensively, both of them liked it. In fact, Amber here says, I liked the ending, to be honest. I liked the last two episodes the most. So,
Yeah, it's
okay, so Dave and Dan, redemption arc. Let's go.
Well, first of all, it's
Wow.
beautifully directed. Okay, every scene is beautiful. It is. I've been like I have not read the actual book by Cixin Liu, but people have said it's very hard to adapt. It's complicated. It's a dull book. It's very science-y. It's very abstract. There is a Chinese version of it that's on YouTube. I haven't gotten through it because, frankly, I thought it was boring. And but this is like you're taking something that's very dense, and you know they're making it exciting, and it's very Dan and Dave. Like there's just very clearly like shoved in violence and sex and people making like off humor jokes and ridiculousness that is just so them, you know. But like there's a scene where these two scientists are doing exposition about like who they are and like their science backgrounds. And that would be super boring, except they put them in a bar and some drunk guy who's done karaoke is going over and trying to hit on them. And so it's like entertaining because like this stupid drunk guy is hitting on them and asking them what they do for a living. And, you know, they're like, oh, I work for a nanofiber polymer like corporation. And he's just like, you know, like how else are you supposed to like introduce that information? And they did it in like, yeah, they did it. It's D&D dumb, but it's also entertaining. I mean,
It's like engaging.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the cast here. I'm seeing so many Game of Thrones alumni. I'm seeing
yeah, it's got
Davos,
Sam, it's got Davos.
Weiss Sparrow.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
and you know, the acting is really good, especially like the material. It's now keep in mind I'm a little also biased because you know, I do have an interest in Chinese history. 20th century Chinese history I think is fascinating. And a large portion of the plot takes place during the Cultural Revolution in China, and it's, you know, there's some interesting stuff there. But even if you know nothing about Chinese history, it's still really interesting.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, Trey, about there being a lot of, so Davos, the High Sparrow, Samuel Tarly.
Sparrow, Samuel. Yeah, and I see, I get it. They want to throw him a bone, you know. They're friends, maybe. I don't know
Benedict
if Sam's
Wong,
getting much acting roles.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very real
You
with
know.
you about Benedict Wong. The best role he will ever be in forever of all time will be Marco Polo, where he plays Kubla Khan. Holy shit, that is...
yeah, he
My
did
God,
awesome
dude.
with that. Yeah,
That
it's
was
a shame
amazing.
that we saw so little of him. Dang, you're right.
Mhm.
Kubla Khan,
Also,
yeah, Marco Polo.
Let me send this both to you. It's great that you like it, Preston, but apparently a lot of the critics are very lukewarm on it. 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. This morning I checked, it was 76. It's gone down a little bit, but 59% from the audience score. The audience is very fickle, and I don't want to chalk this up to it being them being pissy about the last two seasons of Game of Thrones, so they're just going to bombard these assholes with
right. And
bad
also
reviews,
I can
but-
also just tell that they're not following the book exactly. And so I imagine there might be some book snobs who are like, you didn't follow everything exactly, fail, you know? But so far, I mean, it's very engaging despite it being like incredibly weird and abstract in its story. I mean, keep in mind that like we've watched Western entertainment our entire lives, and so we kind of have this bias on what is a good story. Like, you know, like when we see something that's not 3 acts, that like doesn't have like a character at the beginning who you know goes through a conflict and then it's changed at the end, like it doesn't go on that like journey, we get upset. Like we're like, where's the conflict? Like where's the 3-act structure? Like, you know, where's the flawed characters? Like when we don't see something that's exactly like that, we just assume it's bad writing. Even though there's a million stories that don't have that. But it's what, like, Eastern entertainment is not bound by that. They don't have a tradition of that. So you're going to see different kind of writing structures, different stories put together, different types of characters. So I would just say the effort and of taking something that is so different, you know, a Chinese person's sci-fi novel that's almost unadaptable with like an incredibly abstract plot, and to make it watchable. I mean, it's pretty incredible task. And you know, I have to say that like D&D was really doing the impossible, and I don't know. So I mean, so far, I'm granted two episodes in, but they seem to be sticking the landing. It's really good.
I was debating on even checking this out because I'm gonna be very real with you. I have so much shit that I gotta watch. Oh my god! Let me just give you like a rundown real quick of the crap that I've been on here. Do you mind real quick? I'll just list this off. Black Mirror, the new season. Castlevania, the Nocturne. Gen V, still haven't seen Gen V. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Need to get on that. I want to watch Napoleon. I have right here. I need to watch this. Solo Leveling, which, by the way, Trey, are you a gamer?
Not really. Solo Leveling.
It's an anime from South Korea,
anime,
and
yeah.
I'm enjoying a lot the fuck out of it. First couple episodes have been great. I need to finish the rest. And Wheel of Time, Preston. I haven't fucking gotten
You're
to
never
Wheel
going
of
to get to
Time
Wheel
yet.
of Time.
Wheel of Time.
That's not fucking true. You have faith in me.
You're never.
Have faith.
I mean, even though you probably have 2 years until the
Wheel
next
of
season,
Time.
no, you're never going to get to it. That's,
Also, Trey, please tell me you've seen Nightfall from the History Channel.
Oh, fuck me. Nightfall. What is
About the Knights
No, I've
Templar
never
and
seen
the Holy
Nightfall.
Grail?
No.
that came out
let's
years
see.
ago. That came out many years ago.
Right, season 2.
I watched their Vikings, you know, like they had their Viking series, and
I love
I stuck
Vikings,
with
yeah.
it till the end. But I did not watch Nightfall.
I actually haven't seen the last season of Vikings. How was it? Was it?
It was like it ended with kind of like not like a whimper, but kind of like it wasn't bad, wasn't exceptional. Like I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is how they're wrapping up everything, and it's like, yeah, it's okay.
Wait a minute.
I guess.
Just answer me one question. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But
Yeah.
one question. Does the last scene of Vikings end with them landing in North America?
That's not the last scene. They do that. That does happen. But yeah, that's involved. But they get to North America, I think, for several episodes, and that's kind of like a subplot or an arc.
And it's like one of
And
it's like one of those movies where like the alien like is walking the streets of LA and they're like, "Oh, this world is so weird." They like make it to America and they're like, "America's so weird." Oh,
They have. I remember them having scenes like, "Oh, this is an amazing land. A great country is going to be here one day." Like kind of like
that
you
kind of
roll your
bullshit.
eyes kind of situation.
Yeah, okay.
And like I think they get along with the Native Americans. Like they get along. They're not, which I think is contrary to the sagas. I think the sagas explicitly say.
And by the
Vikings
end, the
have
American
made it to
Indians
North
name them
America.
Sasquatch and make a legend about them.
No, that would be awesome. Okay, I'd be down for that. That's a pretty good explanation for Sasquatch. It's like Norsemen in North America.
Hairy Norseman like walking
Oh my
around.
gosh. Are you ever gonna watch it, Carmine? I can tell you.
I
what
am,
happens.
bro. I'm a bad millennial. I don't binge as often as I should, which is weird because I binged Mrs.Davis because that fucking premise would Trey Mrs.Davis. Really, you got to get on.
All right.
All the episodes are out.
The less
It's
you
so
know, the
fucking
less
good.
you know about it, the more you'll enjoy it. But
Preston,
though,
give him like a nice spoiler-free synopsis.
it's
What you told me.
it's about a nun and a cowboy trying to find the Holy Grail in a world that's been taken over by an artificial intelligence.
Can't beat that. Okay.
Right?
That's a pretty
You're
fun
like
premise right
And,
there.
I'm like, I'm not exaggerating. Like that is the plot in a world that's been taken over by an AI. It's about a nun and a cowboy trying to find the Holy Grail.
All right, that's pretty good. Like, all right. I'm in. I have this like weekend
Also,
kind of free. I'll
it's
binge it.
fucking hilarious. It's hilariously funny. It's yeah.
It's Lindelof.
Okay.
So if you like Lindelof, you should know what to expect. And that's not a bad thing. Like, he inserts humor in a very nice way.
He was Lost, Watchmen, Leftovers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I like his work then.
Yeah.
Well, Lost. Oh, some of Lost.
Yeah,
Some
I mean,
of Lost.
yeah.
But I hear you praising the Leftovers. The Leftovers, I hear it like every single time I see
Yeah,
it,
Leftovers is
maybe
really
I should
good.
check out
Yeah,
Leftovers.
yeah, definitely. But
Okay.
I mean, check out Mrs.
You know
Davis first. Mrs. Davis is much more enjoyable than Leftovers. Leftovers is like intense.
Okay.
You're like, oh God. It's like punch in the gut every episode. Mrs. Davis is fun. It's really, really fun.
Okay.